Okay, so a while back, we signed up for something that they do in Alaska, and it's called the RoadKill list. Basically, you contact the Alaska State Troopers, and you're on a list. If a moose gets hit by a car or a train or dies, you can kind of come out and you can take the moose, and you get all the meat, and yada, yada, yada. So, a few seconds ago, we got the call. So, we have to get the truck started up. I've already got the trailer hooked up, and basically our plan is to go out there, and they want you there as fast as possible, and you need to get that moose out of there. Our plan is to winch the moose onto the trailer as is, whole, and just get it out of there as fast as we can. And yeah, so that's what we got going on. I'm getting all the snow knocked off the truck, and we're heading out. Okay, so the way these things work is you're never ready for it. You kind of just gotta be as ready as you can. All I know is this thing, I think, was hit by the train. So it's on the railroad tracks, probably about 15 minutes from here. It's actually really close to where our second property is. And we have a come along in the back of the truck, and that's a 2,000-pound come along. So I think we can either use the come along and just try to winch it onto our trailer manually, or we can load up the 6x6, the four-wheeler or the six-wheeler, put that in the trailer, and then we can use the six-wheeler to winch it onto the trailer, and then one of us can just drive the six-wheeler home. It's about a 10-mile drive, but I don't think it should be too bad. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull this trailer out. I'm gonna get the plow disconnected from the six-wheeler, load the six-wheeler on the trailer. That way we can bring the six-wheeler with us to go pick up the moose, and I can just use a winch on the six-wheeler, which is a 4,500-pound winch, and we could easily just winch it onto the trailer that way. So I'm gonna pull the truck forward, see if we can get the six-wheeler loaded up. Bo, bandit, knock it off. So we just got a bunch of snow the other day, but I think the only thing I have to do on the Polaris is get it fired up and get the snow off it and get the winch disconnected. That's one of the coolest things about this winch, is it takes about 10 seconds with one hand to get it disconnected. So just gonna pull our winch in, and then I've got probably got about 60 or 70 feet of straps, along with our I forget how long our winch cable is, just a standard winch cable. So I don't know, 100 feet maybe. So I'm gonna clear the snow off the trailer, and we'll get the Polaris loaded up. All right, we got more straps in the truck. We've got the come along just in case. Got the Polaris on. I'm gonna throw my bibs on, get some gloves, and I think we're pretty much ready to hit the road.
Okay, so we are on the road. I think it's been, how long has it been since you got the call? 20 minutes?
I need 20 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
And we have about 15 minutes to go. So we'll see what it's like when we get there. We're super excited, and this is now what we're doing today.
Yeah, we had plans for today, but we knew with this RoadKill list, if you want that moose, when they call you, you basically gotta drop what you're doing. Yeah, and you gotta come get it. And we've been waiting for this. Hasn't been too long, what, 4 months we've been on the list?
4 months we've been on the list. And the moose have been out a lot this month. This is when you see them left and right on the roads. So we were hoping, but we never know.
Yep.
We also got lucky today because it's only 26 degrees.
Another way we got lucky is it is a little before 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we got plenty of time to go get this thing while the sun's still out. And yeah, our main goal is just to get down there and get this thing on the trailer. Okay, it's 2:10 in the afternoon, and we are pulling up on the crime scene, if you want to call it that. Anyways, we're pulling up on where the dead moose is, and Don't see anything so far, but the railroad tracks are right next to us, and it's supposed to be at where this road crosses the railroad tracks. So we're pulling up on that. We'll see if we can find this moose.
Did they say it got hit by a train?
I just assume.
We don't know if it got hit by a train or not, so we'll see. Sometimes not all the meat obviously is salvageable, but it's still a free moose.
Yep, just takes a lot of hard work and some gas money to get down here, but we'll see what happens. So I don't see anything yet. I don't see any. Doesn't look like the troopers are out here still.
What's that?
It's like a, I don't know what that is. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I see the moose, and it's actually on a crane.
So we just got to the spot, and there are some gentlemen out here that are actually able to load it up onto our trailer. We brought our side-by-side, so we're gonna have to figure out things with that. I don't know if we're driving that back or just coming back to get it, but this is gonna make the process a lot easier for us.
Okay, we got the moose loaded up. We need to get out of the way because the railroad crew is here and they're out here doing their job. So Ariel is gonna be driving the truck. I'm gonna be driving the Polaris, which we didn't actually need to bring, but it's good to be prepared. And we're gonna get out of these guys' way, and then we'll stop and we're gonna talk a little bit more about what we got going on.
Okay, so we are headed out. Super cool they were able to do that for us, so we don't have a winch on our truck. I think this was kind of best case scenario because we are so close by to where the moose got hit. It also is a bull, it's a younger bull, and it just got its back leg, so it's not totally damaged by all. So we're really thankful and excited for this. And we also, when you do the roadkill list, you go in as a group. So we went in with our neighbors, and we're going to be sharing this. It's awesome, food for us, food for them too. And we just still are in the midst of figuring this all out, and we're going to figure out what we're doing.
Okay guys, this is our moose, and this is a bull moose, and they've shedded their antlers, so that's why there's no antlers on it. And the nitty gritty is it got hit by the train, and the guys there said it looks like it just, all that happened to it was it broke its leg, the bottom portion of it. You could tell it was broken, and they actually had to shoot this moose. They shot it right before we got there. They said it was still alive, so that was good. They already did that for us. And like I said, that was awesome having them out there with that crane, because these things weigh a lot. So now all we have to do is we're about 10 miles from our house. Ariel's gonna be driving the truck, and I'll be on the Polaris, and then we'll get home, and then we'll go from there.
I'm glad this happened on a day that not that many people are out, because we're going real slow. Going to our house probably about 35 miles an hour. Our old Polaris, we could go a lot faster, but that's the drawback of this one. And honestly an upside, because it's an awesome machine. And so we're just chugging along. Pretty exciting though. And you know, I did want to touch that there's a lot of excitement because we joined this roadkill list, and we were just really, you know, you never know. You never know when you're gonna get the call. You never know if you're gonna get the call at all. Maybe you'll miss it, you know, maybe your phone's off, and if that's it, you get the call, and either you have to pass or you can go for it. And I wanted to just say that it is, you know, sad too. I know we're very excited about it and seem excited about it, but it's purely just because so much is gonna come from this animal for us, and it means a lot to people who live here in Alaska that they have this system and this program, or the roadkill list for the residents. So again, it is sad that this animal passed away, but we're just really appreciative for what we get in game. And I think we've only been about maybe a quarter of the way, so we got a little more to go. So we made it to our road, and we talked to our neighbors, and what we're going to be doing is actually processing it at their place. It's a little more appropriate for it than ours, and we're going to be aging the meat. So we are going to pick back up with you guys a little bit down the road when we actually get to that point, and we'll let you know how things are going.
So it's been 2 days since we got our roadkill moose, and we have the head from the moose in here with the chickens, and they're going to town on it and kind of picking away what they want. We have the meat hanging up, and we're probably going to let that hang for, we're not really sure, but probably about a week or so before we actually start packaging it up. The organs we've been giving to the dogs, so they're loving that.
We're really excited about that moose, so it's, again, just really, really exciting to have some moose meat.
So upon further inspection with the moose, we believe it was about a 2-year-old bull moose, so pretty young, and we believe it was about maybe like 700 to 800 pounds, so still a lot of meat, but it's definitely not, you know, a 1,600 pound full-grown bull moose, but we're really happy to have a lot of moose meat.
And we got really lucky with it when we were processing it. We noticed from the outside when we picked it up that it didn't really look like it had been damaged very bad. It had hurt its right lower leg where there's not really a lot of meat. And when we processed it in the pelvis area, it looks like it did get hit in its back end. There were some broken bones, but really for the most part all the meat was, you know, salvageable, so we didn't lose any, which was really exciting for us, again, because it got hit by a train and we were a little concerned that it may not be very usable, but it was, thankfully.
Yeah, and on the RoadKill list, you don't know what you're going to get, and if you're on that list and you say, I'm going to go get that moose, you have to deal with it no matter what that moose looks like, so we got really lucky. We were prepared to pull it out of a ditch if we had to. Luckily, it was on a crane. It was loaded right into the trailer. All in all, it was an awesome situation. And since we're already out and about today, we kind of wanted to go over a few things with you guys and just give you some updates on what's been going on around our cabin.
So our chickens are doing great. They made it through winter really well. This was our first time with having them here in Alaska, and I think we got down to -30 in the winter, and our chickens are in an uninsulated, unheated coop, and they did fine. But I will say one thing that we should have foreseen was our males have large combs, and they're unfortunately too big for those temperatures, so they did suffer severe frostbite. And what's happened is they're kind of lost that tissue and they're healed. So from here forward, we're going to be trying to keep chickens like this girl. I don't know if you can see her, but she's got a nice pea comb, I think it's called, and we're going to keep the ones with the smaller straight combs, but the one rooster that did get frostbite had a really big straight comb, so we're going to try to breed them and keep the comb types that work best for our climate.
We did try to help them out as much as we could. On the really cold nights, we'd come out here and rub Vaseline on the chickens with the bigger combs. And what do you think? Did that seem to help at all?
I think it did help to some extent, and the coop we have is supposed to have really good ventilation, so I think that helped, but we found that the moisture was still pretty high in there, so that may have been contributing to it as well.
But yeah, I mean, they made it through, and we've been getting some really warm temperatures. I think it's like almost 30 degrees above 0 Fahrenheit today.
Yeah.
So the chickens they're loving life now. They're awesome. They're out and about every day.
They prefer, you know, above 0 degrees, and we've been getting lots of eggs with the light hours we're starting to get quite a bit every day, which is super exciting.
Yeah, we got 12 eggs yesterday, which was awesome, and I think it's about halfway through the day today, and we already have about 5 or 6 eggs, so we're doing good on that end. So yesterday we were doing some more snow removal for the second time this week. We've been getting hammered with snow here. I think we earlier this week got not quite a foot, but pretty close, and then plowed all that, and a few days later we got another 8 or 9 inches, and we just finished plowing that. It actually hasn't been that bad this year. We've only had to bring out the plow and the snow blower maybe 5 times total. But we do have quite a bit of snow on the ground, and the piles are starting to get a lot bigger where we're plowing. But so far so good. We've had no problems plowing our snow, and we're able to keep our area clear, which is a big thing for us this year, because we're hoping when spring comes around we won't have as much snow, you know, on our property where we actually use the property, melting and creating all that mud for us like we had last year in the springtime.
On that note, we are going to show you guys the high tunnel and how that's looking. We've been keeping the area around it clear so it doesn't get too much snow, and that was pretty easy this year with the snow rake and the snow blower. So in just a moment we're going to head over there and I can show you guys inside.
And one more thing with the moose meat, like I said, we have it hanging, so we're going to age it for probably about a week or so. We're not exactly sure, but we will do a video on that. Not in this video, but we'll be processing it and probably grinding it and putting away roasts and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that video, but let's head over to the hoop house.
The other day I was able to get in here by putting some hot water down at the bottom because I think it's a little bit frozen down there. And I don't really have to do this, but I wanted to show you guys what it looks like in here. The plan this year was going to be to start our seeds out here, and we were going to run lights and have some sort of heat in here, whether it be a wood stove or even like a rocket mass stove, but we didn't get to that, and it also is frozen and it's just not good timing. So I'm not sure if that's something we're going to do in the future. It's still something, you know, in the back of our mind, but right now we already have our seeds started inside the cabin, and when things warm up we will be hardening them off out here. And it's really cool inside here. When I got in here the other day, none of the ground looks frozen or has frost on it, so it's really cool in there. We're gonna be squeezing through in here. Show you guys what it looks like. It smells really cool. It smells like just earth, like decomposing material. This is what it looks like. It's a hot mess in here, but soon it'll be a garden again. So really exciting for that. And that whole area in the back was where we talked about maybe putting some sort of heating in and just, you know, putting up like a sheet so we could heat some plants or seedlings over back there. We're not trying to heat the whole high tunnel or anything like that. And this structure, if you remember watching us building it, it has held up really well this winter. We're really, really happy about it. The poly should last us a few years, I hope. You know, I know the wood's not going to last forever, but the top rail, which is the, you know, the ribs and pretty much the frame of this, should last indefinitely. It's incredibly strong. We had no issues with wind or with snow loads. I just came out here, you know, after 1 or 2 storms and made sure there wasn't too much snow on the top, because eventually if it has too much on the sides, it could definitely collapse it if we're not careful of that. We're gonna head inside and check out where we are starting our seeds this year, or where we've started them already.
Before we head inside and check out the seeds, we need some food, so we're gonna go down to the root cellar. We're gonna bring you with us and show you how things are doing down there. We're down in the cellar. Like we mentioned earlier, it's about 30 degrees today. The root cellar right now is sitting at 29.1 degrees, and you may think that that's below freezing and stuff would freeze, but actually things will not freeze down here in that temperature. We've had this root cellar a couple months back where we went through a long period, well, we think it was long, about a month of the negatives, where the high was about negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and the root cellar, the lowest it got was 28 degrees, and nothing froze. The only thing we've had a couple problems with is we got a little bit of moisture on a few of our potatoes, and when the potatoes got the moisture on it, that froze and kind of softened up the potatoes. We didn't lose any of the potatoes. We were actually still able to eat them. We just kind of sorted them out, ate those ones first, so we're doing good over there. We still got quite a bit of potatoes left. The ones over on this side are the ones we're going to be trying to save for seed for next year. And as far as canned food, I mean, we've ran out of a few of our favorites like cowboy candy, zucchini bread, applesauce, and we're getting low on our sauerkraut, but we're doing really good. We still have a ton of carrots, a lot of beets, and yeah, so far so good. Everything's still working down here. We haven't gone a full year with the root cellar, but we feel like we've made it through the hardest times that this thing's going to face. So we're not going to make any changes to this thing yet, but in the future we might. We still got to make it through this first year. So I'm just going to grab a few things and then we're going to head up and check out the seeds.
This is what our seed setup looks like inside. This is what we did last year. We had 2 shelves and we have these lights to provide enough light for the seedlings since we just don't have enough daylight yet. And we have a whole bunch of stuff started. I've got leeks, shallots, onions started. We have rosemary, some of our herbs, peppers, and celery, and artichokes, and lemongrass. And then we have eggplant over by the wood stove. This year we've been trying to use the wood stove for our heat rather than having to run the heat mats, and that has seemed to work very well. We do have to run our small generator on days that we don't get enough solar power but I can't complain because we are just fortunate to have a situation like this that we can set them up, and we are more than ecstatic for another gardening year. You know, it's early now and everything's so small, but soon it'll be big and beautiful out in the garden in the summer. We're gonna end today's video with some snow clips that Eric and I took over the last few days, and it looks like we may even be doing some snow removal coming up soon because it is snowing again. So we will see you guys next time.